I'm going to show you how to create PDFs, but first I'm going to show you how to get a view ready for a PDF or ready for printing. And when your floor plan looks like this and it's nearing completion, you're ready to put it onto a sheet. First thing you want to do is go over here to your project browser, and you've got all these categories here at the top so that you can filter by just sheets. These are all the sheets that are in my project, and your project being default probably has most of them too, or something similar to this. Every project should have a first floor plan. So I'm going to start by clicking on the first floor plan. And when you open that one, you'll see that the floor plan we've been working on has already been inserted here. If you ever open up a sheet and you don't see anything there, it might look like this. It's just an empty sheet. It wouldn't even have this text here. That means that you just need to take a view and drag it onto the sheet. And this is how that's done. I would, instead of using the sheets filter, I'm going to go find views. This is the list of all the views that exist in my project. Any of them that have the little blue button in the beginning, that means that they're already assigned to a sheet, and you wouldn't be able to reassign them. It'll tell me you can't do that. It's already assigned. My first floor, because I deleted it off of this sheet, isn't assigned, so I can just click there and drag this one over. It's showing me the viewport, and the viewport is the extent of my floor plan. Whenever I click, it'll take that boundary, place my floor plan, and I can continue to select that boundary and move it left and right with my arrow keys. Okay, whenever you have a view set up like this, you also have a view title. And the view title sometimes needs to be moved around or shortened. To do that, just hover over it, click, and drag. That's just letting me move it left or right. Okay, if I want to shorten it, then I need to select the actual viewport. I'll find these grips, and then I can pull this back. Don't worry about the north arrow. You probably don't have one of those, but you don't need it. Not at this point anyways. And just be careful here, because if I click the viewport and then I try to drag my view title, it's going to take the viewport and the view title together. Okay, another thing to be aware of with the view title, or a viewport, is that I can activate it. So if there's last minute changes that I need to make in my floor plan, I don't have to go back to that floor plan view. I can actually just double click here, and now I'm inside the floor plan. I can select walls, windows, doors. I can make any adjustments that I need to. And when I'm done, I double click outside of the page, and now we're back on the sheet view. So now I can select the viewport and slide it around again. Okay. And it's important to understand being inside and outside of the viewport, because some things you might actually do just on the sheet. Text is a good example of that. Here's some text. This has just been placed on the sheet itself from the text command here, and I can move it around independently from the view. But if I go inside that viewport and I place some text, I'll put a big test here. Test, okay, and then if I'm inside the view, I can still move that around independently, but as soon as I go back to the sheet, I'm going to click out here again, and I select the view, that text is going to move around with it because it was placed inside the viewport. Most text honestly should be placed that way, so that if I do move the floor plan, all the text is going to go with it. So even though you don't need this north arrow down here, you probably do need a little text item that says half size. And the way that you would create that is go up here to your text command. Make sure that you're using the right size text, which should be 1/4 of an inch, because this is larger. You can see if you compare it to the other text on the sheet, this is going to be much larger. We want to make sure everybody can see that easily. Click, probably just on the sheet, not inside the viewport. And I'm going to type in half size, all caps. You can then hover over this little rotation symbol, make it a 45, and then hover over the move symbol, and you can move that into position. I've already got one. Now this isn't something that you would expect to see on every sheet or every printout, but we use it anytime that it's needed. If you were to click just on this title block, this is called a title block, it's going to tell you that its size is 22 by 34 inches. And we don't have a printer that big, so we're actually doing everything on 11 by 17. And if you do the math, you'll find that that's exactly half the size of a 22 by 34. And this is really important for a contractor to know, because if I hand them a sheet of paper or even a digital copy, and if I've actually taken a 22 by 34 and I've shrunk it down, then the scale that's labeled here is no longer relevant. Right now it says it's 1/4 of an inch, but as soon as this thing gets shrunk down to a half-size sheet of paper, they'll know they should use 1/8 inch, even though it's labeled as 1/4 inch. Just to give you an example of why they might do that, this wall right here doesn't have any dimension to it. And if they wanted to know what should we build that to, or how long should we build that, without a dimension here, they might take a ruler or a tape measure, and they might measure that. And let's say that on a piece of paper, they measure that at 1 inch exactly. Well, if you understand how to use the scale here, every 1/4 inch is 1 foot. So we have 4 1/4 inches, giving us an entire inch, which means we've got a 4-foot wall. Well, if it's half size and they get that same measurement at just 1 inch, that's no longer a 4-foot wall. That's now going to be an 8-foot wall. So making sure to put this on every one of your half-size prints is really important. Another thing that's important is populating your title block. It's got to have your name on it. It should have my name on it here somewhere. It should say Brother Allen. And it should have the section that we're in, which changes every semester. So ask your teacher, ask me in class what section we are. I think I'm section 4 this semester, but it doesn't matter. Find out your section, and you can put that on there. Again, your name, and somewhere on here you want to have my name. So we could say down here for project number, we could say Brother Allen. The date should just auto-populate. Drawn by is you, and you can put your initials in for that. That's why mine says NA. Checked by, it doesn't matter. Anybody's initials, or even if you leave that one blank, that's okay. Maybe it's your TAs that are going to check this. If you're working professionally, this is just to make sure that, hey, I finished the job and I handed it to somebody else in the office so that they could look it over and make sure I didn't make any mistakes, and then they put their initials in there. And once that's all complete, then you're ready to go and do a PDF. And I'll show how to do that in the next video.